Backpropagation 1. The discussion about the backpropagation has been divided into two modules, backpropagation 1 and backpropagation 2. In backpropagation 1, we will study about the basics, the strategy, and the inspiration of these algorithms, while in backpropagation 2 module, we will discuss about the procedure followed by these algorithms to solve a specific task. So going into the basics of the backpropagation in this module, backpropagation algorithms, they belong to the supervised learning algorithms, the supervised learning algorithms which are used specifically for multi-layered feed-forward networks, and they belong to the category of artificial neural networks, and more broadly to the category of computational intelligence. So they are basically used for multi-layered feed-forward networks specifically. The name back propagation, or sometimes called as the backward propagation, the name basically refers to the backward propagation of errors by the system during the training process, and that's why the name backpropagation is. Backpropagation is a method used in artificial neural networks to calculate the error contribution of each neuron when a batch of data is processed. So it's basically calculating the error contribution of each neuron in a batch of data. Feed-forward neural networks are inspired by the information processing of one or more neuron cells. But truly and frankly speaking, these backpropagation algorithms, they are not being directly inspired by the information processing of the biological systems. These backpropagation algorithms, they are special case of older versions and more generalized versions of the algorithms which are known as automatic differentiation. Backpropagation is commonly used by the gradient descent optimization algorithms to adjust the weights of neurons by calculating the difference in between the real and expected output. So these backpropagation algorithms, they are used by these types of algorithms to calculate the difference or to calculate the error during the weight adjustment during the processing of these algorithms. They also called as the backward propagation or errors. These calculations, they are basically called as the backward propagation or errors. Sometimes they are these algorithms, they are using the loss function basically. When they are calculating the error, they are using a loss function. What is basically a loss function? A loss function is basically a function which is used to map values of one or more variables onto a real number, and some values are also associated. Values are also there for these variables are associated with these. Some cost values are associated with them. For backpropagation, the loss function calculates the difference in between the expected and the real output. So the error calculation is actually being made by this loss function. Two assumptions must be made about the form of the error function. When we are using this error function or the loss function, one must use two assumptions must be made by the one who are using these loss functions or the error function. The first assumption is that it can be written as an average. It can be written as an average in the form of this equation over error function ex for n individual training example. So the equation is E equals to 1 over n into summation x into e of x. This is a function e of x for n individual training examples, which are x is equal to the number of training examples. The second assumption to be made is that it can be written as a function of the outputs from the neural network. So these are the two general assumptions which must be made when use the form of some form of this loss function during the this back propagation algorithms.